Hello friends, and welcome to the second episode of my Necroid RP run of the Trueborn of Azan's Crucible. I'm Icon, and my run didn't take long until something really interesting happened. So while we were busy scanning the Sol system, my scientists discovered a primitive civilization on Sol 3. The continental world. So we got here a atomic age civilization in the 23rd century. Well, considering how everything is going these days, I'm not too surprised they didn't make it. But I wonder what this discovery would mean to the Azani people, and therefore that was the beginning for today's episode. So welcome, my friends, to a new episode of the Azan Council's Journey to the Stars. I did journey a bit further, and while we were discovering the primitives on the Sol system, I also discovered a suitable world in the Akemar system. So this will be our first big goal for colonization, as well as setting up something in the Sol system, because in my impression, the discovery of primitive life on this planet, well, it brings up a few interesting questions. Do they really, is there really any chance that the Azani people and the humanity is really related? I mean, only because they are more primitive than us. It doesn't mean this whole thing didn't go off as they imagined. So, in my opinion, these events should spread some massive discussion and different opinions in the Azani people, so I wanted to record this episode right away. Also, I have discovered, of course, this planet here. We already spoke about that during the first episode. I claimed the Bazanak system in the meantime. My construction... Oh, we had a first encounter. So where was I? Yeah, I claimed the Bazanak system, and I sent the next ship to the Tistra system here, because I felt like these resources here are way too good to let them pass. So I wanted to have this system for sure, and well, the Duranma system is so far extremely non-interesting, because there's not really anything going on in there except for a few anomalies. So my cultural leader has developed the Eye for Talents trait, so that increases the leader level cap by another point. Wonderful. So apart from that, it really did not take too long to discover the primitives on Sol, obviously, because the research ship was already in orbit as we recorded the last episode. So I'm turning up the speed now a bit, because there has been enough spoken. So what's happening here? More anomalies in the Sol system and a tradition to choose. So I was wondering if I would want to go for these here. Well, I think yes. Completing a traditional tree is a very powerful thing to do. And of course, what happened in between too was the sacrificial temple has been built. So when we now take a look on the culture on how was Azan's Crucible, yeah, that was the planet's name. So I now got this mortal initiate, and these guys really don't do too much except for producing a little bit of social science, and the death priests will well, sacrifice those initiates, I guess. That must be the interaction. Like, you create two jobs, the mortal initiates The most devout pupils of the faith dedicate the remaining portion of their lives to the betterment of their society, a study which concludes with their willing, fatal suicide. And death priests, well, what do? The spiritual guidance in of the masses is ensured by those who will, when called upon, make sacrifices of their most devout pupils. So we basically got a euthanasia cult. Okay, fine for me. And that does produce tons of unity. Like, I never had such a quick traditional gain before. I really like that. So let's check it out. My research ship here stopped surveying for some reason. I think it was because of the hostile aliens they encountered. Okay, the Tistra system is being claimed, and now I feel like I have a really hard choice here. Claiming Sol first, or taking the long leap down to the Akemar system. But I think claiming Akema first would be the wiser choice. Unless something different happens in between. So I really like to record much of the early game phase of Stellaris, because I feel like this is one of the phases where the gameplay is still very compact, so expect some more early game episodes in the time between, but I don't think that would be expertise psionics. That's a way I want to go to. So another thing I noticed is the Tistra and Idria system offer trade values, so I want to create a starbase exactly in between those two, simply because I need to save up influence nevertheless, so might as well build a new space station and claim that trade value. Okay, so what's there? A large yet very uninhabitable desert world. Okay, but 18 is pretty big. Let's keep surveying here. And I like what I see here.
A system survey has concluded.
So finally, the first cluster is getting completely claimed. So here are vital choke points available. Akemar is a choke point. This new system here. Well,
System survey has concluded.
We discover a new choke point here. So judging going from here, here, and here, I could save. I could shut off the hyper lanes to my home quadrant pretty well, and I want to do that. So there's beta aliens. Let's have a look at them. So I really like to do this. Well, I would say that's a different civilization. Don't you agree with me? This looks like no space monster to me. So let's go to the situation log, and I think we will try to make contact. So I thought a lot about these, a lot about the Azani, and I think they are very curious to find more undead people like them, and they want to research places where death is amassed as much as they can, obviously. So I would say this leads to their militarism as well, and I guess they will be very interested in war, because a culture fascinated by death, well, war and death go hand in hand. So therefore, yeah, Zablo Incorporated. So I think that's our beta aliens. Okay, mega corporation, fanatic materialist and militarist. So I speak for Chief Executive Officer Lobuk Krumtika and the wealthy elite of the Zablo Incorporated. Okay, they want to do trade. That's fine for me. So, how do we greet them? I love these different greetings depending on your civics. It's one of my favorite parts. Mixing some ethics together and see what kind of responses we will spawn. So, I would say we share the same divine heritage, because we all come from life and go to death. The Azani, though, are the only people capable of mastering death. So we found a natural wormhole there. And I really need to claim the Akamar system because these guys are in my territory, and I need to shut it off there. And we found another continental world. So I'm going to take a leap over the Duranma system. That costs some extra influence, but I'll take those costs gladly. And we won't be picking up the Sol system yet. There's more pressing matters. These dogs.
A system survey has concluded.
They closed their borders on me. Okay. So that doesn't give me a positive impression about the future of these beings. So let's check out the... They dislike me in general. I would say I'll send them my only envoy, because they are my only neighbors for now. And my fleet is not yet really present. Fragmented nation states. We're going to take contact to these beings as well. And of course, there's the question what to do with these fools. That's going to be a difficult question for a later point. So, I wanted to say their fleet power is overwhelming compared to mine. Yeah, I expected as much.
Construction venture completed.
Alright, there's the Bazanak station completed. And let's build a trade hub. This will increase the collection range and should be enough to pick up the trade value there. Well, as soon as all 46 are necessary. So, well, I think it's exactly the double amount of influence necessary to claim both systems, so I might as well claim the Duranma system while I'm here. That's a simple reason behind that. I won't be quicker. I need to wait a lot of months nevertheless, so might as well just close the gap there in the meantime and hope they don't go there first, because that would be a shame. So, I got my new guns researched. I'm only waiting for the blue lasers, and then I'm going to design my first Corvette, because I feel like it's necessary to craft a little bit of warfare early on. Nebula refineries. Is there any nebula in reach here? That's always the interesting question. So... usually nebulae are marked on the map somehow, so I'm not too interested in that. Corvette hull points sounds like way to go. We're militarists after all. So let's upgrade the fleet. I guess coil guns will be installed.
A system survey has
There we go.
concluded.
And completion of the expansion trait tree. So what do we have here? Nihilistic acquisition. The notion of self-determination cannot be a more moral absolute. Holistic goals clearly outweigh individual concerns. Raiding bombardment stance. Abduction from populations. I see. Technological ascendancy. Well, I take that always, but consecrated worlds. Well, not yet. Imperial prerogative, no. Shared destiny, definitely not. Transcendent learning would be, well, we are a very long-living species after all. Would be interesting too. So, the first Ascension perks are always a little bit, tricky. One vision would be very fitting to these people. like, after all, it's a roleplay run and not a min-max run. Interstellar Dominion. So I think the Nihilistic Acquisition, Interstellar Dominion, or One Vision are the most appealing to me, but I think during this early phase we completed the expansion tradition, and I think the Interstellar Dominion will it's either One Vision or Interstellar Dominion, but I think I'm going to go for the Dominion, especially since this will make my early game expansion easier, and therefore I think it's a very fitting trait. Also, it gives me a good chance to win the race onto for the Akemar system. Wonderful. The fleet here is not much, but it's all we have. So let's see. Perfect. Only 52 influence necessary to pick up a star base. That's pretty neat. And I think 75 is the base rating, so already cutting some massive corners here. But I think a culture like the Azani needs to be widespread, because well, to find those especially interesting worlds, they're not. Death is not amassed like in one center of this place here. It's all spread over the galaxy, and so the Azani people must spread over the galaxy as well. I like that idea. But during my monologue about all that, I messed up with my exploration plans. So blue lasers are also available. That's what I like to see. Okay, next technology is available. Survey speed would be definitely a fitting thing. Automatic exploration is also a pretty good thing. And extra energy credits, well, I'm in a heavy plus situation here, so let's go for the automated exploration protocols. And let's head back to Azan's Crucible. I'll really like to recheck every now and then on my worlds to see if they're doing fine. So 31 pops, we're really far away from the next building slot. I don't think there's too much to do. And here, the Bazanak star base already claimed the trade value, as you can see here. Where was trade routes? There we go. So 7 trade value, which if I'm not misinformed, without any civics changes, this is basically 7 energy credits. Just flat out that. Oh, of course, policies. Let's check this out. Diplomatic stance expansion is check. This was something I wanted to do for this episode, because this is where we put down our foundations. Unrestricted wars, definitely. I think the Azani people are extremely arrogant in their stance towards living beings, and therefore I don't see them yet in a phase where they would change their behavior of war. And same goes for bombardment. Native interference, of course, unrestricted, because they are way beyond these things. Native enlightenment. I think we definitely should do that, because we are spiritual beings after all. Resettlement, definitely allowed. Or, well, free pops. I think I'm going to have different, probably different policies here, but the Azani people definitely are okay with that for now. First contact protocol, aggressive. I agree with that. Initial border status, closed. Well, not yet. Not yet, but later down the road, I guess I will put down that check mark to closed. So I got a militarized economy. It's more alloys and less consumer goods. Well, I'm very okay with that. Trade policy, wealth creation, and here I could, well, I want to go for I think we should go for either consumer benefits or a marketplace of ideas. I think the marketplace of ideas is where I see the Azani people in their early progression. Produces more unity as well. And I think it's important for them to explore space and see what's beyond everything they thought. I haven't fully determined yet how their way towards the spacefaring age was, but I think they well, I'm open for ideas. I'm glad if you guys want to share some ideas with me. Maybe I can help myself with that. For now, I would say they have forgotten that. It's the easiest excuse. But I don't like that too much. Refugees. So, citizen species only. These people don't take everybody. Population control, yeah. Slavery, definitely. Purge. Responsible. What's that? Displacement only. So I'm able to shove them out of my empire, but I can't purge them. Okay, so that's settled, and now let's go towards my science ships. Is there any way to send my ship home? No. Let's see. By this maneuver, you can just say goodbye to your ship for a random while, and then hope it comes back in one piece. They always come back in one piece, but they have closed borders on me, so I can't do anything about that. So, let's proceed. There's 2 paths to go, and this looks like a dead end. So, dead ends first. Okay, the Demeter will need to wait, and we're up to building a colony ship. So I'm lacking alloys, but what I'm not lacking is energy credits. So no problem for my strong economy. There we go. It's always important to use those energy credits instead of just having them lie around doing nothing good. You can't buy influence though. So the Akemar system is definitely claimed now, and this settles the path for my expansion. So let's say if we happen to meet some other neighbors during today's episode. Otherwise, there's going to be a wonderful phase of expansion for the Azani people. So many worlds to claim, and found our new faith. So, I don't know, are they seeking immortality, or I'm pretty sure the Azani people still don't know what they're looking for themselves. So, I would like to take the fantasy to this point that the Azani people were put into some sort of hibernation to achieve their new undead form. Yeah, I like that story. And when they woke up, they developed their culture on Ukek's beacon and became spacefaring at some point in the 23rd century. Yeah, there we go. But I'm open for other ideas. I'm really curious. And I want to fill out the narrative with new ideas, for sure. Because I really like to spin stories across my playthrough. That's one of my favorite pastimes while waiting for things to happen. So, speaking about waiting for things to happen, I don't need 3 exploration ships anymore, but at the same time, but that's really good, because now I can use the ISS beacon to start researching anomalies, and that's always a funny point, a fun point in the game when you're able to claim the first anomalies in a proper ways. Reasonable time. Reasonable time is the right word I was looking for, and that is now. because we're now going to discover all manner of crazy little events, which are hard to capture on camera because it would end out with me reading out a lot of text passages, and feel free to drop me a comment down below if you like that, but I figure it would be quite boring, so I'll rather skip it for now, and I'll only put up some recording sessions if I dig out some really interesting event chain, like something big. But many of the anomalies are just some, hey, hooray, some random container, take some resources, hey, hooray, some random scientific disturbance, take some research. These are nice to read, but I don't think they live up to the narrative to entertain you folks here, especially if you're playing the game yourself. It becomes boring. What do we have here? So, led by Governor Roath Wessend, they call themselves the Patriotic Vanguard. Awesome. The members have been pushing hard for us to assert our military dominance over the rest of the galaxy. I see. Oh, look here. I get 3 factions at once. Awesome. A perfect point for today's episode. Dread Cardinal Fagan Alford is founding the Monarchist Initiative. Extreme centralization of political and military power. I think we can identify the Azani people there. And the Committee of Sacred Traditions, founded by one of my scientists. Wonderful. Support spiritualist and conservative values. I think these people will go very much hand in hand, but let's see what the specific factions want from me. So the Committee of Sacred Traditions is surprisingly unhappy. The Monarchist Initiative is the largest faction here. They want an imperial or dictatorial authority. Understandable, but I don't know. Possibly, I mean, this would unify the Azani people, of course. I like that. This is a nice plot road. So, what do we have here? The Committee of Sacred Traditions want me to ban AI because they are empty shells. Well, okay, I can understand that. They want me to go for the psionic pursuit and homogeneity. 25% of a population should be some form of spiritualist. Okay. Embattled minority? Where? But why is that green? That sounds like it should be red. Because, well, okay. Patriotic Vanguard. They want me to conquer alien planets. Wonderful. So this is a pretty good thing. And yeah, I like that. So UKEX Beacon will be ready with the first colony ship soon. So let's speed up a little bit more. And I think Bazanak will be serving as another shipyard here. I really like the idea that I get a second shipyard going here in the back here. And Akemar needs a space station. We are militarists after all. So my friends, I love this run already, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And the early game is always, like I said before, one of the most dynamic phases, and I think we don't need to skip too much gameplay between episodes right now. There's enough to conquer here, and Akemar has now claimed their resources. Well, no, we claimed the Akemar resources, and now I'm going for the space station there. Next stop will be the Sol system. As much as I want to grasp the gosh, these names, Jetarama system, I really want to have a station on the Sol system to put up a research station as soon as possible, because I think my scientists are very, very curious to find other primitive life on this planet. Alright, so I think I'm going to record the next episode as soon as I have established colonies on Chataramus, Akemar, and the science outpost on the Sol system, because there's gonna be not too much interesting happening in the meantime. Building colony ships is a pretty lengthy process, and I'm going to skip that in between. So thank you so much for watching at this point. I mentioned a lot of things. I would like to have a talk here, so feel free to leave a like, feel free to subscribe if you like that series so far. I would be happy if you joined the story of the Azani people with me. So see you then, friends. Goodbye.